Hi, I'm Down from Group 1 and I'm here to talk about Chapter 12, Human Resource Management. The role of human resource is changing. Previously considered to be a support function, human resource is now becoming a strategic partner in helping a company achieve its goals. A strategic approach to HR, human resource, meaning going beyond administrative tasks like payroll processing, is that managers need to think more broadly and deeply about how employees will contribute to the company's success. Strategic human resource management is not just the function of the HR department. All managers and executives need to be involved because of the role of people is so vital to a company's competitive advantage. In addition, organizations that value their employees are more profitable than those that do not. Research shows that successful organizations have several things in common, such as providing employment security, engaging in selective hiring, using self-managed teams, being decentralized, paying well, training employees, reducing status differences, sharing information. When organizations enable and develop, motivate human capital, they improve and accounting profits as well as shareholders' value in the process. The most successful organization manage human resource as a strategic asset and measure human resource performance in terms of its strategic impact. And human resource is becoming increasingly important in organizations because today knowledge economy requires employees to contribute ideas and be engaged in executing the company's strategy. Human resource is thus becoming a strategic partner by identifying the skills that employees need and then providing employees with the training structures needed to develop and deploy those competencies. All the elements of HR selection, placement, job design and compensation need to be aligned with company strategy so that right employees are hired for the right jobs and rewarded properly for their contributions to furthering company goals. There are some external factors that may affect the human resource management process, like shortage of workers. The coming shortage of workers make it imperative for managers to find, hire, retain, and develop their employees. Managers first need to define the skills that a company will need for the future. Then they can make or buy, that is, train or hire employees with the needed skills. Retaining these employees requires engaging them on the job. Good talent management practices translate improved financial performance for the company as a whole. The second external factor is selection of employees. Selecting the right employees and placing them in the right positions within the company is the key to human resource function and is vital to a company's success. Companies should devote as much as care and attention to the soft issues as they do to financial planning, because areas will have financial impact and adverse effects on a company's strategy. An accurate and complete job description is a powerful human resource management tool that costs little to produce and can save a bundle in reduced turnover. While realistic description may discourage some applicants, those who follow through with the application process are much more likely to be satisfied with the job once hired. In addition to summarizing what the worker will actually be doing all day, here are some additional suggestions. The last factor, at the same time, technology is changing the way human resource is done. The electronic human resource management business solution is based on the idea of informational technologies, including the web, can be designed for human resources professionals and executives, managers who need support to manage the workforce and monitor changes and gather the information needed in decision making. At the same time, Internet human resource management can be enabled all employees to participate in the process and keep track of relevant information. For instance, your place of work provides you with a website where you can log in, get past and current pay information including tax forms, manage investment related to your certain medical record keeping services. More generally, for example, many administrative tasks are being done online. A high-performance work system unites the social and technical systems and aligns them with company strategy. It ensures that all interrelated parts of human resource are aligned with one another. And with company goals, technology structure supports employees in their ability to apply their knowledge and skills to executing company strategy. Human resource decisions such as type of compensation method chosen improve performance for organizations and enterprises of all types.
Chapter 12 Case Application 1 Mears and Human Resources Management Challenges in China. Question number 1. Why does human resources management represent one of the major challenges faced by foreign companies entering the Chinese market? Human resources management represents one of the major challenges faced by foreign companies entering the Chinese market because the problem which are most important is a qualified manager to lead the operation. In Chinese market, it is the question that whether must use the expat manager from foreign country or use a local talent manager. This comes on the top of other common problems related to human resources management in China, which all Western companies have the experience in one way or another. These issues had been known for a long time, since the beginning of the Deng's open door policy, which in 1979 opened China to foreign companies' direct investment. Question number 2. What are the main issues expat managers generally face? Main issues that expat managers generally face are cultural conflict and language skill in complicated Chinese business environment. Chinese is one of the hardest languages to learn. Even organizing a banquet can be daunting experience for someone not acquainted with the local culture. Besides that, expat managers who have a solid experience of the country and speak Mandarin is such high demand that they are normally very expensive. Question number 3. Why don't foreign companies simply hire local staff instead of reaching out for foreign managers? If foreign companies simply hire local staff instead of reaching out for foreign managers, it needs to train them to function in Western companies. It may be very expensive and the process painfully slow, especially if the hiring is done privately bypassing the expensive. Question number 4. What advice would you give companies such as Mears on their human resources management policies? The first advice is providing security to employees. Secondly is selective hiring, which means that hiring the right people. The third is self-managed and effective teams. The fourth is fair and performance-based compensation. Next is training in relevant skills. Or creating a flat and egalitarian organization, and the last is making information easily accessible to those who need it.
Hello everybody, my name is Wong Pham and I'm here to help you with Chapter 12 Case Application 2, Stopping Traffic. First and foremost, we will go to the case summary. At the J.C. Penney Corporation, the former CEO, Ron Johnson, immediately began one of the most ambitious but not quite effective strategies. The main drawback of the strategies is the impact in the form of a traffic light color-coded performance appraisal system. The first question is that many managers say that evaluating an employee performance is one of their most difficult tasks. Why do you think they feel that way? Because when giving a performance evaluation, the manager have the task of letting the employee not only know what tasks they're doing well on, but where the shortcomings are. And praising employee on a job well done is easy. However, giving a negative feedback is no easy task. The employee can take it personally and become bitter about it, or they can use it as a learning experience and trying to improve in the shortcoming. You have no way of knowing which way they will take it. The second question is, what can organizations or manager do to make an effective process? First of all, they could define and communicate company goals and performance objectives. Your employees cannot meet your performance expectation or the company goals if they are not clearly outlined, and often the employee do not come forward and ask following up questions when they are confused and unclear about something. Second is that you offer a frequent performance feedback. Timely performance feedback is the best way to affirm your employees and their work while also shaping their work effectively. The third method is preemptive management and recognition. One way to guarantee results in the workplace is to implement reward and practice preemptive management. This simply means that your employees always know what is expected of them, so there's never any guesswork or need for consequences in the workplace. The next question is, what is your impression of color-coded system being used by J.C. Benny? In my personal perspective, I believe that the color-coded system was horrendous. Instead of publicly letting the employees know their work performance evaluation, the employer should keep it private. By color-coding them and letting all the employees know, it might cause humiliation for those in red. As a store department supervisor, how would you approach this? I think I would have spoke with each employee individually, letting them know what the color coding system was. I would have been more compassionate, and I also will give them constructive criticism. So they could improve their work performance. What could J.C. Penney executive done to make this process more effective? They need to consider to do this evaluation of their employee in a quarterly manner. It would have been much more effective if they give their employee an opportunity to improve the work performance. Last but not least is they need to implement rewards and practice preemptive management.
Let's make the summary of chapter number 13 about creating and managing teams. So first, we wonder, what is a group? A group is two or more interacting and interdependent individuals who come together to achieve specific goals. There are two types of groups. There are informal groups, which are independently formed to meet the social needs of their members. The second type are formal groups, which are groups defined by the organization structure that have designated work assignments and tasks. Some examples of formal groups are command, task, cross-functional, and self-managed groups. So now let's take a look at the stages of group development. The first stage is the forming stage, in which people join the group and then define the group's purpose, structure, and leadership. The second stage of group development is the storming stage, which is characterized by intra-group conflict. The third one is the norming stage, which is characterized by close relationships and cohesiveness. The fourth stage is the performing stage, when the group is fully functional and works on group tasks. The final stage is the adjourning stage, during which group members are concerned with wrapping up activities rather than task performance. So now, we wonder why are some groups more successful than others. The reasons are the abilities of the group's members, the size of the group, the level of conflict, and the internal pressures on members to conform to the group's norms. Now, let's analyze the main factors. Work groups are affected by the external conditions imposed on it. There's the organization strategy, the authority relationships, the formal rules and regulations, the availability of resources, the employee selection criteria, the performance management system and culture, and the general physical layout of the group's workspace. A group's performance potential depends to a large extent on the resources each individual brings to the group. These include knowledge, abilities, skills, and personality traits. Groups have internal structure that shapes members' behavior and influences group performance. The structure defines roles, norms, conformity, status systems, group size, group cohesiveness, and leadership. Let's look at the first 6 of these aspects of group structure. The role is the behavior patterns expected of someone occupying a given position in a social unit. Norms are standards or expectations that are accepted and shared by our group's members. Conformity. Because individuals want to be accepted by groups to which they belong, they are susceptible to pressure to conform. But conformity can go too far, especially when an individual's opinion differs significantly from that of others in a group. In such case, the group often exerts extensive pressure on an individual to align his or her opinion with that of others, phenomenon known as groupthink. Status systems are an important factor in understanding groups. It's a prestige grading position or rank within a group. One important research finding related to group size concerns social loafing, which is the tendency for individuals to expend less effort when working collectively than when working individually. Cohesiveness, which is the degree to which group members are attracted to one another and share the group's goals. It's important because it has been found to be related to a group's productivity. Groups in which there is a lot of disagreement and lack of cooperation are less effective in completing their tasks than groups in which members generally agree, cooperate, and like each other. The next factors that determines group performance and satisfaction concern the processes that go on within a work group, such as decision making and conflict management. These processes are important to understand work groups because they influence group performance and satisfaction positively or negatively. The first process, which is the group decision making. Most organizations use groups to make decisions. There are some advantages of it. There is more complete information and knowledge. There is a diversity of experience and perspective, and there is an increased acceptance of a solution. On the other hand, there is also disadvantages of group decision making. Groups almost always take more time to reach a solution. Dominant and vocal minority can influence the decision, and groupthink is also another disadvantage. The second process is conflict management. Conflict are perceived incompatible differences that result in interference or opposition. So first, we have different views on conflict. There is the traditional view of conflict, the view that all conflict is bad and must be avoided. The second view is the human relations view of conflict. The view that conflict is a natural and inevitable outcome in any group. The third and most recent view, the interactionist view of conflict, proposes that not only can conflict be a positive force in a group, but that some conflict is absolutely necessary for a group to perform effectively. This view doesn't suggest that all conflicts are good. Some conflicts, the functional conflicts, are constructive and support the goals of the group, of the work group, and improve its performance. Other conflicts, dysfunctional conflicts, are destructive and prevent the group from achieving its goals. There are different types of conflicts. The first one is the task conflict, which are conflicts about content and goals of the work. Second one are relationship conflicts, which are based on interpersonal relationships, and process conflict, which are over how work gets done. There exist some solving techniques, which are avoidance, accommodation, forcing, compromise, and collaboration. As the group performance satisfaction model shows, the impact that group processes have on group performance and member satisfaction is modified by the task the group is doing. More specifically, it's the complexity of and interdependence of tasks that influence a group's effectiveness. Work teams differ from work groups and have their own unique traits. Work groups interact primarily to share information and to make decisions to help each member do his or her job more efficiently and effectively. There is no need or opportunity for work groups to engage in collective work that requires joint effort. On the other hand, work teams are groups whose members work intensively on a specific common goal using their positive synergy, individual and mutual accountability, and complementary skills. There are different kinds of work teams. Problem-solving team, which is a team from the same department or functional area that's involved in efforts to improve work activities or to solve specific problems. There's the self-managed work team, which is a type of work team that operates without a manager and is responsible for a complete work process or segment. Cross-functional teams compose of individuals from various functional specialties. And virtual team uses technology to link physically dispersed members in order to achieve a common goal. However, research on teams provides insights into the characteristics typically associated with effective teams. Managers also face some current challenges in managing teams, primarily those associated with managing global teams, building team skills, and understanding organizational social networks. Group member resources in global team. Managers need to clearly understand the cultural characteristic of group members. The group structure. Issues include conformity, status, social loafing, and cohesiveness. Group processes. Multicultural global team is better able to capitalize on the diversity of ideas. We know there are both drawbacks and benefits in using global teams. Building team skills and understanding social networks also represent major challenges in managing teams.
Case application 1. For and why. Question number 1. What challenge would there be to creating an effective team in an organization staffed by independent contractors? How could managers deal with this challenge? Contractors often do not have buy-in into the company culture and low levels of organizational commitments, and they will have their own set of goals and objectives. It would be difficult to get team members to trust and communicate with each other. Manager will need to give the team time as well as the necessary resources to develop. Goals for cooperation will need to be established in addition to reward for team success. Question number 2. Why do you think teamwork is crucial to Lonely Planet business model? It is crucial because of the dispersed geography and the need for a guidebook for every tourist area. The owners cannot physically go to all of the locations they want to serve. Question number 3. Using Exhibit 1310, what characteristics of effective teams would be most important to Lonely Planet guidebook teams? Explain your choice. All of these goals are important in this type of situation because of the use of external contractors. External support is more likely to be useful than internal support. Clear goals, trust, good communication will allow for the team to stay focused on the project.
Case 2 of Chapter 13. Question 1. There are 3 types of management team included in the case study. Problem-solving team. These employees appear to be a problem-solving team. The employees come up with a solution to problems, and although it may take years for the solution to be applied, they work together to make it happen. The next one is cross-functional team. The case application states that the employee teams are made up of 7 to 10 workers, all with varying backgrounds and experiences. The last one is self-managed team. They meet as often as once a week. The rest of the time they work in separate teams. Each team is responsible for a specific area of the jet. Each team managed to complete their section, and once all sections are completed, a 737 jet has been made. The managers need to group up employees working together who act to be self-accountable for all or most aspects of their task. They have to share and rotate all skills that they have, supportive on the managerial task. They both responsible for their outcomes and in control of their decision-making process. Members of self-managing team tend to keep costs down and maintain high productivity without outside management. Case 2 of Chapter 13. Question 1. There are 3 types of management team included in the case study. Problem-solving team. These employees appear to be a problem-solving team. The employees come up with a solution to problems, and although it may take years for the solution to be applied, they work together to make it happen. The next one is cross-functional team. The case application states that the employee teams are made up of 7 to 10 workers, all with varying backgrounds and experiences. The last one is self-managed team. They meet as often as once a week. The rest of the time they work in separate teams. Each team is responsible for a specific area of the jet. Each team managed to complete their section, and once all sections are completed, a 737 jet has been made. The second question is Second question, to make a better managing team, the managers need to group up employees working together who act to be self-accountable for all or most aspects of their task. They have to share and rotate all skills that they have, supportive on the managerial task. They both responsible for their outcomes and in control of their decision-making process. Members of self-managing team tend to keep costs down and maintain high productivity without outside management.
So, question number 19. My answer would be that a team leader needs to play two important roles in this type of setting. First, the team leader must be able to lead the team without being a dictator. In order to keep things running smoothly, the team leader must get in there and help the team out rather than be a boss that tells them what to do. They must be part of the team. In addition, a team leader must be motivating and positive. They must offer words of encouragement and motivation to ensure that the employees reach their full potential. Question number 20. My answer would be that all characteristics are needed in that case to support employees and help them reach their full potential.